Mount Zion by
News time is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Here's what we have coming up for you in news on this Thursday. The newest Clinton City Administrator discusses his first 6 weeks on the job. He joined us on the morning show on WHOW yesterday. FFA Week continues, and we continue our highlighting of local FFA chapters. Yesterday on the Noon Farm Show, we heard from the gentleman from the LeRoy FFA chapter, and members of the Mahomet-Seymour FFA chapter joined us as well. We hear from those two chapters in news on this Thursday. And Governor J.B. Pritzker laid out his priorities for fiscal year 25. That story comes up in news as well. Later in sports, Maroa-Forsyth made up a basketball game that was postponed due to weather earlier this year and fell to Rochester in non-conference boys basketball action on Wednesday. That recap in sports later in the hour, as well as a preview of the regional championship action in high school girls basketball postseason. Those stories and much more still to come in news on this Thursday. But again, we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agents in Clinton. Tony Harris has been the newest Clinton City Administrator for about 6 weeks now, and there is a lot to learn while getting to know the ins and outs of his new role being a challenge. One thing that has not been a challenge is getting to know the players involved at the city level.
It's kind of nice because I have found out that with the city, it's kind of the same players, between the city and the county, and I work with some new players, but also work with some of the same players that I'm used to working with the county. So in that aspect, it's been good. I didn't have to, meet a lot of new people and work with them. So
nice.
it's been very well. The first day, I kind of prepped myself of some things I need to learn. The TIF districts in the city, I had to learn those and figure out what TIF even means. TIF is tax increment financing. I had to dig into that a little bit, and I've spent a lot of time just researching things just during my downtime in my office, just reading through the city ordinances and just Google searching like TIFs just to educate myself on that.
According to Harris, the city, he joins the city at a time with a lot happening. One of the big projects going on right now is the development of the Park Lane West subdivision, and he's been getting caught up on everything involved in that project.
We have the new subdivision, Park Lane West, that, I walked in the middle of that subdivision is now finished, and we are in the process of selling the lots for building site. I think it was my second or third day on the job. I had a meeting with Kurt Homan. He's executive director of DCDC, and that's when we met, and he informed me about the new business, new manufacturing business coming in, Quickwall. So that was a very good meeting. We've been meeting since then, and I'm on the DCDC board. And a couple other things. We have the Longview Bank that just finished up. We've got some finishing work to do with that bank to get it attached to the city sewer system. So that was one thing I walked into. So yeah, it's been good. I've again spent a lot of time just educating myself, just going through the city ordinances and figuring out what my job duties are and what my role is there, and it's been a good experience.
For Harris, one of his priorities is to effort for the community residents to keep their properties kept up. He notes they are really just after compliance and not seeking to write citations frequently.
We have ordinances out there, and again, I had to research those. I don't know everything that it says in there, but basically what they did last night is put on file the fines and fees, where we're able to give citations to homeowners and do it daily. Now, this is not something that we want to do. Basically that's, we want to be able to have some teeth in the game where we're able to get what we need to get compliance is what we're looking for. Some of these homes that are just being overtaken by garbage, trash, ugly things sitting outside, vehicles in yards. Those are the type of things that we want to get cleaned up. And the city ordinance, there's a lot discussed in the ordinances on that. You can't have vehicles that aren't running in your yard. All vehicles need to be parked on a hard surface. Vehicles in your area, in your driveway or on the side of the road, all have to be licensed and in running order. You have to be able to go out and drive that vehicle off. It can't just be sitting there with flat tires, and those are the type of things. And again, we don't want to make a hard burden on someone, but we're just trying to do our job to keep the city clean.
Before COVID, the city of Clinton had gained a lot of momentum by hosting up-and-coming country music acts on the square, and it is a priority for Harris to see those concerts return.
Commissioner Dan Ballinger contacted me early on when I first started and said, hey, this is important to me. So it's important to him and the other commissioners that we move forward with these summer concerts. And yes, you talk about passion. That's a passion of mine. There on the square, Mr. Lincoln Square, it's considered a park. The city put a lot of money in that when we developed that area there in the center with the stage. Why not use it? So yes, that's important, and we are going to start working on that. But it's not just as simple as call a few places and have a couple concerts. There's a lot that goes into it. What kind of concerts? Insurance is one. Do we have the budget for it? So it's the end of the budget year, and we're going to start negotiating we're talking about the budget here in the next coming month. So we have to make sure we have that budgeted for concerts. So there's a lot that goes into it, but yes, we are going to be working on that. We've kind of got a plan in place to move forward with that.
Harris joined the city of Clinton at the first of the year after former city administrator Taylor Baxter departed the role for a similar position in Farmer City. Harris was the longtime director of the county's 911 center. It's National FFA Week, and one local chapter celebrated early this year. On the WHOW Afternoon Farm Show Wednesday, LeRoy, Vice President of Student Relations Chase Stagey, told Regional Radio they celebrated during the first week of February, so students have the chance to sign up for ag classes once they've learned about the program.
So we did it the first week of February, and we used to do it during National FFA Week, but we moved it back because of scheduling for all classes. That's like the second week of February, and one of our big things with FFA Week is we have a showcase day. So during lunch, all of junior high and all of high school goes down to the ag room, and then we have stations kind of set up with every ag class has about 3 kids from each class, and everybody goes in, you ask questions, you figure more out about the classes, and we do that right before scheduling so we can encourage people to enroll in ag classes and come out and do more stuff. I think we've definitely gotten people to join through that.
Vice President of Public Relations Matthew Carlson explains the ag class opportunities at LeRoy High School are expanding and hopes that these will bring more people into FFA.
Our ag class basically, there's different things. Like our horticulture class is really based in our greenhouse that we have. And coming up, actually, our ag classes are going to be expanded a lot more because our IT teacher is actually becoming our vice principal. So that's opening up our shop right now so we can have a lot more ag shop classes, like work on small motors, and we're hoping to eventually expand like welding and all that. So our now ag teacher, I think, is hopefully, what I've heard, is moving to this new room. And we're getting a new teacher to come in to teach about like in-person, like study, like
classroom stuff, like BSA, so biological science.
Oh, cool.
And just all the classroom stuff is what the new one's probably going to take over from what we heard, and then our current ag teacher is going to move into the shop and do some more hands-on activity because that's what he feels he really excels in.
Treasurer Nathaniel McKinney says membership for the LeRoy FFA chapter has really grown in the last few years. During his freshman year, the program was small, but he credits the growth to the passion of he and his fellow FFA members for recruitment.
Since mainly me, Matthew, and Chase have joined. We've gotten a lot more people in, which helps. Since we've joined, we've gotten a lot more people in. We've gotten more people interested, which I think is really good for us.
Okay.
Because we really need that, especially after our freshman year, we didn't have that many people in it. And, well, me and Matthew were officers our freshman year. We became officers, and then we started recruiting a little more. We got more people interested, all that. We did CDEs. We'd go. I mean, they
recruited me to go out my freshman year, and they kept convincing me to come out and try it out, just give it a shot. And I took an ag class, and then it's all just kind of been history from there. I've really enjoyed it. Growing up in a small town, I mean, everything's kind of ag related. Just through school, friends. I mean, me and Nathaniel pretty much grew up at Matthew's house. He lives out on a farm, and I mean, we've always just kind of been around it.
The chapter has seen reaching students during their lunch hour. They do this through dress-up days and fun activities that can drive students to taking an ag class and joining FFA.
Our FFA week consists of stuff we do at lunch, and basically themed dress-up days. Like one of our dress-up days was future career, dress like your favorite brand of tractor. We usually mainly focus on stuff at lunch. So stuff we do at lunch is just trying to get kids involved leading up to the main showcase day of agriculture, so kids are more interested every single day of the FFA week, and hopefully like the big goal at the end is to get the kids to join.
The Students Dress FFA is not just for students with previous background in ag. Follow along with all things LeRoy High School FFA on their Facebook page. 19 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Still to come in news today, Governor J.B. Pritzker laid out his priorities for fiscal year 25 yesterday. That comes up later in news. Also in sports at 7:30 this morning, Maroa-Forsyth fell to Rochester on Wednesday night in a makeup game of a postponement due to weather earlier from this year. And high school girls basketball postseason rolls on with regional championship action tonight. Those stories come up in sports this morning. The Mahomet-Seymour High School FFA chapter is taking time this week to celebrate and highlight its members who have developed specialized ag skills. On the WHOW Afternoon Farm Show Wednesday, chapter reporter Callie Turner told Regional Radio they had quite a few members recognized for their proficiency, including herself.
Yeah, so we had a lot of winners this year, and we had Cash Bryan. He was our Human and Public Services SOE winner. And Taylor Mills was the Ag Sales Entrepreneurship winner. Alexa Turner, Beef Entrepreneurship winner. Jack Jessup, Diversified Horticulture winner. Callie Turner, Poultry Production winner. Addie Legacy, Specialty Crop Production. And Addie and Jack both participated for their state degree, and Jack was Star Ag Business. So we had a great success at proficiencies last Thursday in our section. So I am in poultry production. So my book's about collecting and selling my eggs of my farm fresh eggs for my chickens. And my book compete, and you go into a panel of judges. They'll ask you questions, and I competed against 3 other people.
Turner indicates proficiency awards will help them achieve their state degrees. It's not an easy process and requires multiple interviews alongside competitions against other students.
So to get your state degree, your record book is a huge part of it. A lot of it comes from the money you make from your record book, and then also like your activities in FFA. So this will definitely excel me towards my state degree. So after proficiencies, we're going to compete at districts, but your state degree is a whole nother competition.
Okay.
So you'll have a whole other interview for. They're going to ask you a lot of questions about FFA, your experience with FFA, what you've done, and then they're going to look at your record books to see your revenue and your growth, and also how many FFA you have competed in, like competitions, how many events you've gone to, stuff like that.
Chapter Sentinel Isaac Burge explains his favorite part of FFA is the broad array of topics you can dive into. He also enjoys competing in contests and growing his skills.
I just like how anything under the sun is part of agriculture almost, and you can do anything and associate it with agriculture. And the contests I really enjoy, just competing against things I enjoy. And just meeting new people is always a great thing, making friends from different schools that you would never meet if it wasn't for FFA, and it's really, really good program.
The idea of FFA is anyone and everyone rings true for Treasurer Grant Arbuckle, who notes he doesn't come from an ag background.
Yeah, I always thought FFA, the Future Farmers of America. I've always lived in a neighborhood I've never really been exposed to any like tractors or any of that. And I get into FFA and I'm like looking at all these contests. I'm seeing that there's a whole lot that like I'm familiar with, and there's a whole lot that isn't just like farming. It's a very like diverse spread, the best I could put it. I'd say probably my favorite part about FFA is the parliamentary procedure contest.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if we weren't wearing official dress, nobody would know it's in FFA is how I can say it.
Sure.
Because it's really nothing about farming. It's like a simulation of how you would run a meeting.
See daily posts from the Mahomet-Seymour FFA chapter on their Facebook and Instagram pages, and keep it to Regional Radio as we continue our coverage of FFA Week on the Afternoon Farm Show into today and tomorrow. Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiled his proposed budget for fiscal year 25 that increases spending by about $2 billion without raising income or service taxes. The proposal relies on an expected $1.5 billion boost in tax revenue and $1.1 billion in spending reductions compared to a previous forecast. Wednesday, in the Chicago Democrats' annual budget address, he noted the proposal would bring total spending to roughly $55.2 billion, a 3% increase.
Here's the good news. We've made responsible investments, and Illinois is better built for the long term. That means that lean budget years are a challenge and no longer a catastrophe. Overcoming a challenging budget year starts with growing our economy, because every business we add, every dollar we invest, every worker we employ, every entrepreneur we uplift strengthens our resiliency. For too many years, Illinois lacked an organized effort to attract, retain, and expand businesses, payrolls, and career opportunities. Global CEOs and site selectors have told me Illinois was never on their radar screen because for decades, our state wasn't proactively competing for their new factories or headquarters like other states were. That's all changing.
Governor Pritzker calls this year's budget balanced and explains they are asking Illinois government to start to do more with less.
I'm proud to say that this year's budget proposal is balanced and responsible. It represents some hard sacrifices and moderated spending. We're preserving the progress that we've made over the last 6 years, streamlining certain departments to do more with less, and delivering for our residents without raising their taxes. Like so many other states, our FY26 revenue will grow at a slower rate than we experienced in recent years. For example, state-sourced revenue increased 15.9% in 2021 and 13.2% in 2022. We expect to finish this year with 5% revenue growth. But for 2026, our forecast projects a 1.9% increase, much more modest, in part because the U.S. economy is projected to grow at a slower pace.
Governor Pritzker called out the Trump administration, warning Illinoisans that President Trump, along with Elon Musk, are coming for Illinois tax money.
This is my 7th State of the State address, and I've come before you to present a budget in good years and in bad, in years of crisis and years of relative stability. There's a whole industry of backseat bellyachers in this state and around the country who make a profession out of rhetorically tearing down Illinois and suggesting that if we would just enact one of their magic bean fixes, that we would never face another difficult budget year. But there's one thing that I've learned as governor: there are no magic bean fixes. And each year there's some difficulty that requires us to work hard to overcome it. This year, the surfacing difficulty is Donald Trump's and Elon Musk's plan to steal Illinois' tax dollars and deny our citizens the protection and the services that they need.
In the governor's budget proposal, K-12 education would see a $350 million increase and a proposed boost for higher education. However, early childhood block grants will remain flat. A health care for low-income non-citizens aged 42 to 64, costing $330 million, would be eliminated. To generate additional revenue, this plan proposes adjusting casino tax rates, pausing a $171 million fuel tax transfer, and offering temporary tax amnesty to raise $198 million. Lawmakers must finalize a budget deal by the end of May. 28 minutes after 7 o'clock, we wrap things up. Coming up on the morning show.
It's time to celebrate winter. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Yes, we have extra savings on all new Chevrolets this month to celebrate the winter season. See our inventory of Chevrolet Trailblazers, Blazers, and the all-new Chevy Trax. We also have a larger, redesigned 7-passenger Traverse and a good selection of 24 and 25 Tahoes. See our winter celebration savings at BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
News time is 29 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. A quick look at obituaries this morning. 84-year-old Margaret Sue Murphy of Clinton passed away February 11th. A massive Christian burial for 84-year-old Margaret Sue Murphy is this morning at 10:30. Burial will follow at Woodlawn Cemetery in Clinton. 94-year-old Norman Eugene Leggett formerly of Clinton passed away February 12th. Services are Saturday at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news on the way, local sports to follow on WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Long thought to have been killed, the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages are going home. The remains of a mother, her 2 young children, and an elderly man have been released by Hamas in Gaza. Finally, a confirmation vote on President Trump's FBI director nominee. The Senate expected to take a final vote today on Kash Patel. Delta Airlines offering a payment, $30,000 to each of the passengers on the plane that crashed on the tarmac at Toronto's Pearson Airport. Enhanced safety features get the credit for saving the lives of everyone who was on the plane. Walmart delivering another strong quarter of profits and sales increases, but the retailer's outlook for the year not so rosy. Because of that, shares of Walmart have tumbled 7% pre-market. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures are lower. The Dow futures are down 140 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Share 55.
With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams. The NBA began the second half of its regular season last night as the Hornets upended the Lakers by 3, 100-97. Looking ahead to the playoff run, every club has between 26 and 30 games remaining in the sprint to the April 15th finish line. Even the lower seeds in each conference have hope if they make the cut. The last 2 years, teams seeded from 5 to 8 have made their way to the conference finals. In the NHL, the general manager of the Team USA Four Nations playoff hockey tournament said he'd welcome a visit from President Trump in the championship game tonight between the U.S. and Canada. Word from the White House is the president will likely not attend. NCAA Top 25 college basketball last night. You had top-ranked Auburn struggling, but eventually defeating Arkansas 67-60. Number 4 Alabama wasn't so lucky. 15th-ranked Missouri tripped them up 110-98. 10th-ranked St. John's beat DePaul 82-58, and 17th-ranked Kentucky beat Vanderbilt. This is SRN Sports. 7 men from Chile have been charged in a Florida federal court with orchestrating burglaries at the homes of prominent professional athletes around the country, according to the complaint from the FBI, which doesn't name the athlete. But the burglaries have already been made public in the news, including the players from the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as players for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and for the NBA's Milwaukee Bucks and Memphis Grizzlies. According to the complaint, the defendants are part of a burglary ring. It's, quote, known to target high-profile professional athletes when they're known to be away from home, unquote. The men allegedly stole about $2 million in watches, jewelry, cash, and other valuables. Each defendant is charged with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property, which carries a maximum 10-year prison sentence. It wasn't clear Wednesday whether they're in custody, and the Tampa Federal Court records don't list attorneys. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Cabron Lee scored 22 points for Maroa-Forsyth, but it was not enough as Rochester topped the Trojans 79-54 in non-conference high school boys basketball action Wednesday night in Maroa. Lee scored 15 of his 22 points in the first half. The Trojans fell behind big early thanks to Jack Melton for the Rockets, who made 5 first-quarter three-pointers. He helped Rochester to a 49-25 lead at the half. 4 players scored in double figures for Rochester. The Rockets go to 17-10 overall, while the Trojans drop to 12-13. They are at New Berlin Friday night to wrap up the regular season. Class 2A High School Regional Championship action tonight in girls basketball from Meridian. Monticello takes on Paris at 7 o'clock. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Tonight in Bloomington, Bloomington Central Catholic battles Tremont at 7. From the Maroa-Forsyth Regional, it'll be the hosts taking on Sullivan at 6 o'clock. In Peoria, Peoria Manual takes on DMAC at 7. Tonight in St. Joseph, St. Joe Ogden and Kankakee McNamara battle at 7. From the Williamsville Regional, Pleasant Plains takes on Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin tonight at 7 o'clock. In Decatur, it'll be Decatur St. Teresa and Stewartson Strasburg at 6:30. In Gibson City, GCMS takes on Cullum Tri-Point tonight at 7. In Roanoke Benson battles Mount Pulaski at 6 o'clock. From Tuscola, the hosts take on Arcola at 7. In Class 3A, Peoria tonight, Lincoln takes on Morton at 7. And in Washington, the hosts battle Morris at 7 o'clock. Jack Doherty's 25 points off the bench helped Illinois State to an 82-71 victory over the Bradley Braves Wednesday night in Missouri Valley men's basketball action. Doherty had 6 boards for the Redbirds, who go to 16-12 overall and 8-9 in the Missouri Valley. Johnny Kinzinger added 19 points and grabbed 9 boards. Chase Walker finished with 13 points. Duke Dean had 16 and 4 assists for the 21-7 Braves, who are 12-5 in the Valley. Zeke Montgomery scored 16 points, and Darius Hanna finished with 15 and 3 blocks. Illinois State took the lead with 5:23 left in the first half and did not relinquish it. Walker led the team in scoring with 10 points in the first half to help put the Redbirds ahead 35-27 at the break. Doherty's 16-point second half helped Illinois State finish off the 11-point victory. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Daytime highs approaching 21. Today, under mainly sunny skies, northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear. Tonight, lows dip down to about 6 above.